You are live right now. You are currently at the place to be right now. There's no hotter spot in Calgary than right here in McMahon Stadium. Stay tuned. Hey man, it's Sean Bain Jr. here. Hey, first time in Canada. Blessed to be here. Let's run it.
B, hold on. Yes, sir. Mr. Nurse in the building.
I get another close-up look.
Hey, were you thankful? Were you thankful today? Were you thankful to wake up today? If you were, let me get a ooh-ee.
Hey man, Rock Thomas, Rock Tizo, aka Rockstar, man. Mad love to the Calgary Stampede fan base, man. Love y'all, man. It's Mr. Greasy. It's a great day to get better!
What's going on, y'all? It's D-Sang, man. We gonna get things rolling. Let's get it.
This is one of those teams where it's actually been quite easier as far as chemistry goes in the locker room and teams knowing each other and teammates talking to each other. And it's almost like, because guys been away from the game so long and guys been at home and now we're getting back into the sport, it's almost easier to connect with guys just because you've been through all the hard stuff for the past year and a half. So now that we're back on the field, I mean, we're all loving the moments and enjoying the moments right now.
It's been a really, really good start to camp, in my opinion. I mean, obviously it's super high energy. I mean, we haven't been on a field in whatever it is, 18, 19 months, pretty well documented, but had high expectations that guys were going to be fired up and excited to be back with each other on the field playing ball. And certainly that was the case yesterday with the walkthrough, but really today finally got to put the helmets on and get some live action against the defense.
Hey, I just wanted to send this video out to all my fans. I appreciate the support you guys been giving me. You know, really been uplifting, and I'm gonna bounce back. As you see, this day one, man, we're finna go in surgery, get the Achilles nice and cleaned up, man, and start the road to recovery. So I appreciate everybody. Thank y'all.
What is up, my friends from Canada and the United States of America? This is Mark Perry, editor of CFL News Hub. Welcome to another episode of the CFL News Hub Show, a weekly recap of the Canadian Football League. If you want to be part of the show, just email info@cflnewshub.com with your MP3s or videos. We appreciate that. Plus, make sure you smash and subscribe and smash that like button to spread the word about the CFL, because that's what this show is all about. For you those who don't know me, I'm Mark Perry. I've started multiple wrestling websites. XFL News Hub is kind of like the big one. Pro Wrestling News Hub, Dogecoin News Hub, Destiny News Hub, lots of web properties. I'm a software engineer by day, a football enthusiast at night. I am no professional, and that means I am no professional writer, whatever, but I've been doing radio stuff since I was a kid, and I really enjoy doing these things, and I really enjoy football. My background, I ran wrestling sites since I was in college, and then all the way up until a few years ago, I sold my wrestling website and focused on, I wanted to do football, but the NFL is super saturated with football. So there was no way I could get into it. Vince McMahon announced the XFL, and I was like, oh, let me start an XFL news site. That blew up. We got a great staff. And then we all know what happened with the XFL. And I'd always, in the back of my mind, was like, what about the CFL? What about the CFL? And even when the XFL had closed its doors and you know what started to happen and the CFL season was canceled, I was still like, well, what about the CFL? Maybe that's an option. But I'm like, oh, there's just no way I could. How do I get that? I don't know what the fan base is in the United States. Then the XFL and CFL had their talks. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to put my money where my mouth is, because in the end, I enjoy spring football, and I enjoy the opportunity. I enjoyed spring football with the XFL so much. Who knows what's going to happen with the CFL 5 years from now? They've been able to withstand many dramas and money issues over the years, but they're still standing. There's no doubt about that, and the XFL is not. At this point, XFL said they're coming back in 2023. So So we have XFL News Hub and we have CFL News Hub, because at the end of the day, I want spring football and I enjoy spring football. So the mission for CFL News Hub, and there's a lot of other great content out there by CFL fans that have been fans for years and that have, been around for a long time. My mission here and CFL News Hub's mission and the great writers that are behind CFL News Hub is to bring the Canadian Football League game to the United States of America. I'm not an expert. If you think because I don't know X, Y, and Z, I'm some kind of idiot, whatever. It was the same way when I started with the XFL. I didn't know any of the players, didn't know any of the teams, the coaches, and anything about it. And then I've been interviewed on multiple news shows throughout the course of the last year talking about the XFL. So I'm a smart guy. I'm a software engineer, I'm an entrepreneur. I can figure things out and I learn pretty quickly. And so I'm excited about bringing that's my mission. That's the mission of all the writers. The thing is, in the United States, there is a thirst for spring football. We saw it with the spring league. The ratings were good. And there's just not a lot of news outlets covering the CFL. And I thought that was a great opportunity. Now that the XFL and CFL is over, at least for now, who knows what's going to happen down the road, but at least, of course, for the next couple of years, I think they're done. There is a vacuum for some kind of spring football league. Now, in the United States, supposedly, and I've reached out and I've heard back from ESPN and the CFL, but that nothing's been finalized yet, that you're going to be able to watch CFL games in the United States on ESPN Plus. That's how it's going to work. As the season rolls in, there's other ways to get around it. You can subscribe to TSN, who covers the Canadian Football League, but you need basically a credit card. You can get around it by using a VPN, but you still need a credit card to pay for their kind of Sunday ticket type thing to watch the game. So and supposedly ESPN is going to have live games on there. ESPN Plus, so we'll make sure that we keep you up to date of how you can watch the CFL, because I like the fact that the CFL season is long, as for business purposes, that's a good thing, and it's over the summer, and I think that's just a lot of fun. I'm an American fan. I'm Baltimore Ravens season ticket holder in the past, not anymore. I was a season ticket holder when Joe Flacco led them to a Super Bowl. And so I've been around the NFL game for a long time, but I started getting tired of it. I started getting tired of going to the games and I just wanted something new. And the XFL kind of regenerated my interest in football and my love for football. And then, as this journey over the last 2 years for the XFL has led me to the CFL, I'm interested in that. I've watched a lot of games so far. I'm interested now. I have names and players that I'm kind of rooting for. Of course, I have my Hamilton Tiger Cats. I picked. I have something on. No, what is that? There we go. Is my team. I decided that. My plan is to go to a Hamilton Tiger Cats game as long as the border opens. That's still in the works for just October. And, of course, trying to get into the Grey Cup. Everything kind of depends on what that's going on there. So I'm excited we're all excited, all our staff. We're bringing on new people from the United States and Canada, new writers, and we have a lot of cool, interesting things coming down the pike from CFL News Hub, so you want to stay tuned for that. And what basically the show is a recap of the news, but one of the things I'm a huge fan of is fantasy and betting. Now, we know that in Canada, they passed the betting law. I don't think that's going to be in play this season. It's going to take a while for all that stuff to ramp up. But that doesn't mean, like, for example, DraftKings in the United States, if you're into DFS, they have CFL football. They had in the past. I assume there's a little link there on the menu. It's grayed out, but it's still there. So I assume we can be able to do that. So I'll give you all my picks on the games, players to pick up, the fantasy aspect of it, which is a lot of fun to do. You can play fantasy on TSN, but the last time I clicked on the link, it didn't work. We have an application. I've been super busy. Again, this is a side gig that I do, not my full-time gig. So I've been working on a fantasy application. It's not ready for prime time yet. I don't know if we'll get to it this season. I'm trying to not super pressure myself. I'm kind of an A-type person. if I'm into something, I'm all in. Like, I don't just watch CFL games for fun. I start a website, hire writers, pay them with money I don't have, because the site makes no money because it's brand new. It's called the Google Sandbox. If you've been around the internet business, it's going to take a while for that kind of thing to break out. So we're at the beginning stages. So this is the first kind of iteration, and I'm excited to do this show. Remember, so to help the show grow, make sure you subscribe and smash that like button. That spreads the word not only about the show, but the CFL. It's unfortunate that the XFL and CFL partnership talks ended, because that was an excuse for American fans to kind of check out the CFL. But I'm hopeful that that was enough of a tweak of an interest that people like us at CFL News Hub and other content creators can pull in that American audience and the Canadian audience to give you something new. I understand, but as soon as I jumped in, there was not many podcasts. There's some podcasts, more probably than XFL ones, but not live shows like this one that you can participate in. So we just kind of want to give you that and learn from the game and learn from you guys and grow and basically spread the word about the CFL in the United States. That's the main mission there. So we're live every Wednesday at 8 p.m. on the YouTubes and on Facebook on our CFL News Hub channel. So check out those things as well. So on this week's show, we have 4 Roughriders that suffer Achilles injuries. You just heard from one of them in the intro, plus several teams not paying CEWS benefits. We'll get into that, plus so much more. We'll get a commercial, then we'll hit some of that social media stuff. And, if there's anybody in the chat, I know this is a new channel, so I don't expect big numbers for a while, but we're just going to keep plugging, and this is how you get started with somewhere. So without further ado, folks, let's get into the news from the CFL, shall we? All right, first up, this was crazy story that 4 Roughriders suffered Achilles injuries in a practice. Now, this was last week's. This is season-ending injuries. I think it was July 8th. So all of these injuries occurred in a relatively short period of time, within like hours, during a third day of I believe this was involuntary workouts. So the story goes, confirmed that Larry Dean, who you saw in that video, Freddie Bishop, Nelson Lacombo, who is one of the, I think he was the second overall pick, cornerback. I was excited to learned a lot about him. He's out. And Jonathan Femi Cole all suffered Achilles injuries, and they are basically going to be out for the season. This was on the third day, the last day of permissible workouts. Tough break for all of them. GM Jeremy O'Day said all the injuries happened during non-contact drills. Apparently, they were doing some kind of exercise of throwing medicine balls up and catching them, and then everybody just went down. I mean, I don't know what, it was kind of this super bizarre thing. So there were no coaches present due to the protocols in place. The aim of the workouts was to get players acclimated to football and working out prior to official start of camp. Each player is being evaluated individually, but all 4 are expected to miss the entire 2021 season. This freaked me out. I'm sure it freaked out CFL fans. It was like, oh my gosh, we're not even into the first week of camp, and it's just going to be terrible. Luckily, that was not the case, and we haven't, at least knock on wood, there haven't been any other rash of injuries out there right now. Everything seems to be going pretty well there. In other CFL news, this one was kind of interesting. Several CFL teams are not paying players. That was kind of like initially what kind of went out. So according to 3 Down Nation, the CFLPA sent out a players memo letting them know that several teams had stopped paying the Canadian Emergency Wage Subsidy to its eligible players. Their alleged reason, whether or not rookies have eligibility. So the memo was sent to the players from the union, basically says CEWS, all members who are eligible will receive the wage subsidy retroactive to May 16th, 2021. This was to be paid no later than July 10th, 2021. These payments are due today, and we are hearing from reps that the teams are saying they are not respecting the memorandum of agreement and paying players their entitlement because your Players Association is taking a position that all players are entitled, including rookies, which, I mean, they didn't get to play. It's not their fault. We have received an opinion from CRA and our legal counsel that indeed rookies are entitled. The league disagrees, and we are actively in discussions with them and the CRA to resolve this issue. However, our disagreements does not give them the right to withhold payments to the rest of the players. There are no reason the teams can't pay veteran players and continue to seek clarity of the issues of rookies. In fact, we're being told that some teams have already made this payment. So it's very confusing. We have made ourselves available to meet with them, blah, 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 blah. So basically, and Josh Davis goes through this, this is all based on things from last year. So it looks like the CFL, some of the teams didn't want to pay the rookies, but then because of this, they didn't pay the regular players. Just not a good look. This is not like they're not paying the players to play the season. This is from the Canadian Emergency Wage Subsidy, which I mean, I'm no expert, but honestly, it concerns me just because of the penny pinching aspect feel that this has to it. But also, like, you're kicking the season off, and this is a little bit concerning if you're kind of a CFL fan. Like, if you're going to start nickel and diamond now, like, what's to say down the future? Remember, the players are not getting paid what they normally get. It's 20% less. And if you're an American player going over, it's really not that much. Especially for as many games. There was talk like, oh, well, yeah, if you play in the CFL, you make more money than you did in the XFL, which is true, sort of, but you're also playing like way more games than basically almost playing double the games than you are in the XFL. So that's why that was kind of like, well, I don't know about that. And, and the exchange rate from Canadian to fiat, maybe you should use Dogecoin instead. Maybe pay your players with Dogecoin. I don't even know if I could say that. So that's kind of the problem there, and that kind of penny pinching aspect to it that was kind of a little concerning for some of us watching from afar. We'll see what happens with that. We'll keep you posted on that. The Ottawa Red Blacks, some good news. And this is something that I have said on XFL News Hub's show. I'm like, everybody was freaking out that there was like, oh, well, there's not going to be, how are they going to do this? And fans in the stands. And from a United States perspective, it was like, hey, just wait until you get the jabs rolling out there. Things are going to open up really quick. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And then now we have, Red Blacks are expected to a full house in their home opener. So this 2021 CFL season was canceled. We all know about that. The Ottawa Red Blacks and Toronto Argonauts and Hamilton Tiger Cats are looking to fill stands coming game time. For Ottawa, the number is estimated to be around 15,000 fans, possibly more. The issue here, though, is even in the United States, even though in certain areas, I mean, we went on vacation in Florida, there was a lot of people out, but still, like, people are still leery of even going to movie theaters, and so there is that aspect too. So even though you can open at a full house, I think there's going to be a certain percentage of people that, at least this summer, are not kind of feeling comfortable going out just yet. The Red Blacks already have 11,000 season ticket holders and with an additional 1,500 or more on a waiting list. Very cool. While there has been some deferred with former season ticket holders, the numbers are not large enough to cause concern. We had projections in a scenario set at different levels. Even 15,000 we would have thought was optimistic. 15,000 is good news, and if it's more, we hope it is. That's even better, much better than we had been thinking. That's from the Ottawa Sports and Entertainment Group. The season ticket renewal rates are about 96 to 97% of the pre-pandemic amount. And with the teams selling flex packs, the team should see a good audience come kickoff August 28th. So this is all good news. The Ottawa Red Black season kicks off August 7th against the newly named Edmonton Elks. Their home opener is August 28th against the BC Lions. And Michael against Michael Riley, not Mike Riley anymore there. This is also good news because the Blue Bombers, this just came out today, can have a full stadium for the August 5th, which is a heck of a lot closer home opener. The province of Manitoba has given the Blue Bombers permission to have a full crowd of fully vaccinated fans for their home opener August 5th against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, which they will lose to. And we'll also have my picks of who I think is going to win. We'll have MVP and all this other stuff. I'm just waiting for the rosters to kind of shake out before we start talking about players. I mean, so much can happen between now and kickoff in August. So that first episode a week before, we'll do our MVPs and our team picks because things have got to shake out over these next couple weeks with training camp. So the province hit the next milestone of their 4-3-2-1 Great Summer reopening plan, and the new health restrictions will come into effect Saturday, July 17th at 12:01 a.m. It's great news for the Blue Bombers and their fans to start seeing some normalcy this summer, so that will be awesome to get them back as well. So this is all great news for the CFL and their players and fans to be able to get fans in the stands. We all know that a lot of revenue generated from the CFL is from gate, and so to have these fans in the stands is a huge. This is huge. Now on to some player news in the CFL. First up, former NFL and CFL XFL QB Chase Linton was released by the Red Blacks. Now he was kind of in the XFL for a little bit, but definitely he was a name out there in the XFL realms. So on July 12th, quarterback Chase Linton was released by the Ottawa Red Blacks. His only regular season stats came from playing days at Marshall, where over 3 seasons he threw for 8,335 yards, 72 touchdowns, and 31 interceptions, 60% completion rating, and a respectable QB rating of 133.9. So he is out. Red Blacks added a bunch of other players, and now Linton had been bounced around since 2018, where he went undrafted to the Kansas City Chiefs. He was on their practice squad. He was on Jacksonville Jaguars, which I might be actually going to a Jacksonville Jaguars game coming in October. I'll have to tell you about that. Failed to make any roster. He signed with the Seattle Dragons before moving to the Vipers. He signed with the Ottawa Red Blacks, and now he is out. So who knows what's going on? Maybe we'll see him in the hub. Maybe we'll see him in. He's definitely somebody that should check out the USFL coming, or the Spring League. Now remember, on CFL News Hub, we cover the European League of Football. Right, at least right now. I mean, we've heard that the XFL wants to have this international flavor. I'm not really going to get into the Argonauts going to the XFL. I'll save all that stuff for XFL News Hub. And XFL thinking about teams in Mexico. But the international flavor is kind of where the CFL is right now with their global initiative. So we cover the European League of Football on we have game recaps every week. So if you're super nerd, now you can't get those games on TV. You have to actually pay for a subscription, which we did so that our reporters can check it out. But the ELF games are on. We recap those on CFL News Hub. Another player that many Americans, especially fantasy football nerds, would know, former NFL star Cam Meredith, I believe I might even had him on my fantasy team, is ready for play with Winnipeg Blue Bombers. They signed the former NFL star on July 1st. Honestly, he said, to be out there playing again, I can't ask for much more regardless of where it is. I remember him with the New Orleans Saints. So his best season came in 2016 with the Bears. He led the team with 66 catches and 88 yards. Injury problems followed Meredith to New Orleans, where he only started in 2018. So he's bounced around a little bit. Now he is in there. He says, being an American, watching a little bit of CFL football on ESPN or whatever it may play, I saw the little nuances of the game. It's not completely foreign, so it's a good thing to me to get a jump start on the game and get going. So he said he's no stranger to the city of Winnipeg, as his girlfriend is Canadian and has been in the city before. So another name to add to the list, if you're an XFL fan, Cam Phillips is in the league. There's a lot of former XFL players part of the CFL, and we'll break those down too. So there's a lot of names in there that you'd be familiar with college playing in the CFL, which really makes it another interesting level thing for American fans to check out the CFL. So, I mean, yeah, you're going to have the CFL season will start. You'll have NFL training camps. And then there's going to be some crossover. But you'll be able to watch CFL games during the week and NFL games on the weekends. It should be pretty cool. You'll get your fill of football in the fall. And that's what I'm super excited about too. Like, I want, where can I get CFL cards, football cards? I have a box back here of somewhere. Oh, where it is. So I have a box of XFL cards, which was a lot of fun. It's actually how, as a kid, being a baseball fan, I was able to learn a lot about the players. So I definitely want to figure out when they come out with a season, CFL cards, so I can get them in the United States. And maybe we'll do some fun unboxing to check out some players' names and stuff. But as the Hamilton Tiger Cats, I'm not going to announce my favorite players just yet. I'm totally going to want to try to bring them on the show. And that's the other thing too, is if especially if you're a CFL player and want to get interviewed on this show and really promote your brand, I'll tell you this, that the powers that be within the XFL, I know they watch and can check out a lot of our stuff, as do people in some of the powers that be in Canada as well. So if you want to promote your brand and get your name out there, this is a place to be. We do have a lot of contacts in the United States, and I definitely think this platform is a great way to get your name out there as well. Some other interesting news this week: the Elks single game tickets are on sale. And they have some promos going on too. So pre-game Coors Light happy hour, recurring promotions, rotating drink specials prior to kickoff. Cool. I like that. One free soda and popcorn for kids 12 and under. Very cool. Digital 50/50 raffles presented by James H. Brown and Associates. 50/50 is go touchless, cashless, and online. All eligible Albertians will be able to participate. Some other cool things, one-time events. So opening day, 35,000 free T-shirts at the gate. Who doesn't love T-shirts? We need to get a bobblehead going on in there. Versus Ottawa Saturday, August 7th at 8 p.m. We'll receive free Elks T-shirt. That's cool. Elks will debut their new antler helmets. Cool. A celebration of the team's legacy. Post-game fireworks. That always works here in the United States with our kicking local baseball stuff here. Labor Day rematch. This was the one. Youth 17 and under get in for free. That's right. Youth 17. And this is the kind of initiative that you need to get going. Versus Calgary. That's September 11th. The Battle of Alberta CFL Supremacy with the Stamps. All youth 17 and under get in for free. Some other events they got. Pure Later Tackle Hunger versus Hamilton's Football is Back. Great cause there. Santa's Anonymous against Saskatchewan. Help the holiday season. So single game tickets are on sale now. Get your antlers up, my friends. Get your antlers up. And speaking of antlers up, is there anybody in the chat? XFL InfoWars. This is not news. ESPN has been broadcasting CFL for years. Yes, I know that. There was question whether they were continuing to do that. They did have a contract signed in 2019 with the CFL. But, hey, I'm glad XFL InfoWars doesn't know. But there's a lot of fans that ask us all that, how do I watch CFL games? He says the CFL makes no money either. And he said, okay. So there you go there. He says there are many live CFL fan shows. Great. Cool. I definitely want to do some cross promotion with some CFL shows as well. That's on the chat there. I need to figure out, I could check out Facebook. Some other quick news before we hit a commercial and some social media stuff. Andrew Harris is out. This was the one injury this week that really kind of stood out for me. After leaving practice early on Monday, Blue Bombers running back Andrew Harris watched his team work out from the sidelines on Tuesday as a non-participant. Bombers head coach Mike O'Shea told reporters that left practice early. He had an appointment. After Tuesday, he'll be taking it easy the next couple of weeks. Uh-oh. Little error there. We don't need to see Andrew in practice right now. We need to get the reps before the young guys who are going to be with us and that capacity all year long. Blah, blah, blah. So Harris's backup, Johnny Augustine, is sidelined with an injury, which has opened up a ton of reps for young Canadian running backs, Bradley Oliveira and Kyle Borsera. So Harris was named the Grey Cup MVP and the game's outstanding player in 2019, having led the Bombers to their first Grey Cup since 1990, the 34-year-old, which he's got some wear on him. But still, the thing is, he hasn't played either in a long time. This has me concerned about his status for the season. He was the centerpiece of the Bombers' offense, having broken a 1,000-yard rushing mark 4 times in the last 5 seasons. He posted 974 yards in 2016. Oliveira was the Bombers' second-round pick in the 2019 CFL Draft and played in 2 games as a rookie before suffering season-ending leg injury. The Bombers took Borsera in the 5th round in this year's CFL Draft. So that's something that we need to keep an eye on is what the deal is with Harris. I mean, we're just going to keep him out for 2 weeks. So that means he can't be in game shape yet. Can he? I don't think so. There's going to be other injuries, especially where I want to see this kind of stuff is with the quarterbacks. And we'll see how that goes. So we'll stay tuned for that. One last thing about the European League of Football. They're going to host a Team USA and an All-Star game. So that's right. So they had a big announcement in Berlin, Germany, October 3rd. European League of Football All-Stars versus Team USA. I thought this was a great matchup. The championship game is the sporting highlight of the 2021 season. Will take place September 26th, but the crowning finale will come a week later on October 3rd, where the Continental League's All-Star team will face the U.S. national team at Berlin's something park. The match between the All-Stars of ELF and the U.S. national team will be a worthy ending to our premier season. The first week of our league has shown high level at which football is played in Europe, with the selection of the U.S. Federation of American Football is coming to, let's see, the United States is a record world champion. Team has participated 3 times and won gold 3 times. Japan, Australia, World Cup. So on October 3rd, the United States national team will challenge an All-Stars from the European League of Football, which is made up of the 8. So I'm curious. I don't know who is on the United States national team. I can't imagine that they're, you would assume that these guys, if they were good, they would be in the CFL. I haven't really heard much about it, but it's a great concept. All-Star games, though, in football, they don't do very well but this is kind of a showcase. So this is kind of different. Like the NFL All-Star game, the Pro Bowl doesn't do anything because these players are getting paid. They're already stars. These guys need game tape, so I could assume that we might get some interesting things out of that. I'll keep you posted. Maybe, it'd be great if this was streamed online or some way we can watch this game, but I'll keep you posted on that. Our man Josh Davis and Matt Lyons are all over the European League of Football. All right, my friends, we're going to take a little commercial break. Then we'll get back to your social media stuff right after this. Stay tuned, my friends.
Here's what you missed last week on the Markcast.
The good news is we will no longer have to talk about the CFL after today. I'm kidding. I did have people like Bad News Brown on Twitter message. He's like, you guys are going to still talk about the CFL, right? I'm like, yes, we're going to talk about the CFL. I did have a good joke with Farhan coming up where I said, well, it's probably the last time we ever talk, But no, tremendous. Crazy week, everything going on, CFL, XFL, the merger, I had a show brewing. I had a good episode title brewing. And then obviously, now it's the CFL and XFL break up. Paul is playing injured. My tooth, I believe Monday, the tooth is coming out. So we're working through all of our, we're podcasting under duress right now, but we're getting through.
I'm dying to hear what you said to Mike Mitchell. Again, I was planning on being on this call, but it's a long story.
Big show today. Okay, so, we were going to have Farhan on anyway. We're getting ready for the CFL season, vaccination protocols, all that stuff. So, Farhan was booked. All this crazy merger stuff breaks. So, luckily, the pro champion that he is, Farhan, comes on.
I understand that both leagues put at this time on their press releases, but I think as of today, there's not going to be any need to revisit the discussion.
The big, you wanted him, we got him, Mike Mitchell. It's been a long time coming. Mike and I talk all about why it's taken forever to get him on the podcast. We did 50 minutes, Mike and I, on everything that you've ever wanted to know about the CFL-XFL merger, about how close they got, what fell through, what Mike thinks is coming in the future.
From what I've heard the last few weeks, Mexico is definitely in play for the XFL. And here's the kicker on this one. What would it mean if, now this might be a little bit troublesome, what I'm about to say, this is like don't hit send in your brain. What if the XFL still explores Canada without the CFL? How would the CFL feel about that?
I am dying to hear this because I feel like it confirms my suspicions.
Yep.
The Markcast is available wherever you download podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Google. It's all over the place. It's also on XFL News Hub and YouTube.
All right, we are back checking out things. So let's hit the social media stuff before we wrap up this week's show. I can't wait to really get once the season starts kicking in. Let's go to the Facebooks. Blue Bombers can have a full stadium for August 5th home opener. Don says, why on Thursday? People work. Hey, you're going to have to deal, my friend, because you're going to have games all throughout the week. I mean, there could be games when we do this show that are on Wednesdays. So that's just kind of how the schedule was able to work. But yeah, I hear you. I'd rather have games on the weekend so you can potentially have an adult beverage or two. But yeah, so that's something that's we're just gonna have to deal with that. We've been doing a lot of previews on CFL News Hub when it comes to the rosters. Carly says, I'm from Montreal, but I will be supporting the Elks this year. Pretty cool. All right, I like that. I'm not gonna put that out there. That is not nice language on there. Let's see what else we got here. Tom says this is not a CFL page. Actually, this page, but I don't know what this guy, Tom. I don't know what you're talking about, but he doesn't recommend because. Okay. He says this page is not a CFL page, but an XFL promotion tool. This page and XFL News Hub page are actively attempting to sow doubt about the CFL by posting negative CFL news and misinformation about the CFL. For CFL news and to engage with CFL fans, look elsewhere. I'm going to put... What? Let's see, Tom Carving Works put his money where his mouth is. And we're going to get a lot of this. I'm telling you right now, it's to be expected. This kind of, I just call it hate America, but it doesn't matter. It's not going to stop me from doing, this is a free internet world. But there's this resistance for us Americans covering the CFL. I mean, I haven't really said anything negative about, and I addressed this in my last show. And let's address it right now, shall we? If I wanted to sow doubt or hurt the CFL, why would I start a website that makes no money, spend my Wednesdays online and not with my family or my wife, just so that I could screw over the CFL? Use logic and common sense, my friends. I'm in this because I think this is a good business decision. Not because I'm not some other dude that you all know from Canada that appeared on the Markcast who comes out and talks trash. But then people think he's a hero and put him on their show, even though they promote the CFL. He will never be on anything, and I will have something about him before, and others, before the season kicks off. No doubt about that. But this is not a FUD spreading show. You notice I didn't even touch the whole Argonauts XFL thing because I don't even know about that. This is focused on promoting the CFL. So Tom Carve Works maybe sniffed too much glue in his mind. But I appreciate the comments, Tom. Good luck to you. And just don't listen. There's other things you can do with yourself. Maybe you should spend some time with your family and so forth. All right, on other stuff. Dennison, talking about the Sea Devils. He says, this is like NFL Europe League 25 years ago. Yeah, it's just something different out there. Let's see here. This, again, this is going back to this article, Dan Ralph article about the Argonauts questions, which apparently there's always been questions about the Argonauts for their whole future. He says, I'm ready for a big season of CFL football this year. Hopefully it'll be on ESPN or ESPN News really soon. That'll be cool. Yes, ESPN Plus is where you can find CFL stuff. But they don't have anything right now on there. Just some old clips, which I'm like, can you put on some more stuff or shows or anything? Glenn talking about the CFL XFL merger ending. He said that merger would have been the end of the CFL. So maybe, I don't know. And Smith says, thank God. I know some people are super excited about that. Some people aren't. I don't know where this is going to lead. It'll be interesting, like I've said, 5 years from now, where both leagues are out. The XFL might never kick off. The CFL might still be in financial trouble. I mean, those two things are a possibility too. But we're just trying to do our part, put our money where our mouth is. I've said this on my podcast on Monday, I've spent more money and will spend way more money than most of these anti-American, hey, we want our league to succeed, but you're not allowed to watch it or cover it, folks that don't use logic. I've spent way more money on the CFL than they have and helped more people involved with the CFL than they ever have in their life. So, and this is a tool to help promote the players of the CFL. I've learned a lot from covering the XFL, the journey that these guys, and you think it's just like you get drafted and you're a millionaire and your life's over and your life is cake. It's not. That's a very small few. A lot of these guys will get drafted. They bounce around from practice squads. They get cut. They get re-signed. They jump to different leagues. They try to hold that game, that dream alive. And it's a tough road. It's a tough gig if you want to be a pro football player. And so this platform, CFL News Hub, just gives an opportunity to get those players' names out there and promote themselves. And maybe they do podcasts or they become writers, all that stuff. We just want to give them an opportunity to get their name out there. That's the whole mission statement there. And finally, so when I was on vacation, I made a joke that I made it over the border to Canada, but in fact I was actually just at Epcot Center, and they had a little Canadian section in there. No CFL gear. I also kept my eye out to see if I could find any CFL people wearing CFL gear, but because the borders are closed, that really wasn't an option. But yeah, that was my joke there. And also I did a little video on the CFL talks are off. This was right in the middle of, they had a tropical storm Elsa in Florida, and Mark 1000 Gems says, when you're doing the live stream, I'm doing it right now. And 11 this land gives a clap. I guess he was happy that it was over as well. So there you have it. This is the first show this week on Wednesdays. Thanks for tuning in. We want to thank people in the chat. XFL Info Wars, thanks for chiming in there. And just be part of the show. That's it. If you want to be part of the show, it's simple. You just, not that one. Just email info at CFL News Hub with your MP3s or videos. And also, like, this is the people's show. This is the fan show. I'm not here to my mission for this show and why I kind of do shows a lot differently is I'm all about fan engagement. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear that, Mark, you're an idiot, or this is cool, I don't like this, I want you to do more of this. You know, I read fan emails. I read stuff that people take their time to post on Facebook and Twitter and messages us everywhere, that kind of thing. So I look for that fan engagement all the time. So be part of the show. This is your show. You tell me how things go. Ran a very successful pro wrestling podcast years ago, and so this is not my first rodeo. I've done this before, and I'm really excited. I think things will really start to crank up once the games come in, and that's going to be a lot of fun to pick games. I would like to do, especially with my American friends, and we did this in the past. We did a DraftKings league. If TSN does fantasy football, I'd like to be in a league. We'll probably have a writers league, and I would love to have a fan league. And if the person wins, we can do merch. You can pick merch from your favorite CFL team. We're going to do all those kind of fun things, and we have a lot of other things in store on CFL News Hub this year. Got a lot of great writers, and we're super excited about it. And so this is the first episode. This is cool. We're doing, so we're live Wednesday, 8 p.m. on YouTube and Facebook. You can catch us anywhere there. And we're on all the social media channels, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok on there as well. And that's it for me, folks. Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching all the way up in Canada, and then my friends in Canada and then the United States. Can't wait to hang with you guys, hopefully during this CFL season. We'll be back next week with more CFL news. That's it for me, folks. God bless. Stay safe out there, my friends. Mahalo. And I will see you all. I say this all the time at all my shows. Later.